to stay.
Hello and welcome back to Beyond Boards, a podcast dedicated to the interests and actions of skaters beyond skateboarding. Today, November 4th, is late British pro skater Ben Raemers' birthday. He would have turned 31. After Ben's death by suicide in May of 2019, his sister Lucy co-founded the Ben Raemers Foundation, a charity dedicated to destigmatizing the topic of mental health in the skateboarding community. I did an interview with Rob Mathewson, another co-founder of the foundation who helps with illustrations among other things, in May for episode 6. I had the opportunity to have a little chat with Lucy to discuss what she and the foundation have been up to recently between the Smile videos, Barney Page skating across the UK, the Skating and Talking documentary on Vice, and running her first marathon in London. So here's my conversation with Lucy Raemers. I hope you enjoy it. Well, thank you again. Thank you for taking some time to chat with me. I appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for having me. I'm sorry it's been it's been a bit of a slog us getting here, but yeah, we finally made it. Hey.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, no worries. I knew that at some point we would find an opportunity. So yeah, thank you. And I'm sure you've had some busy weeks, and this week particularly must be pretty busy for you. So I won't take too much of your time.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, it's big week being Ben's birthday, so it's been a bit hectic. But yeah, really glad to be speaking with you.
Thank you. So yeah, I usually start these interviews with just a small introduction of the guest. If you can tell me in a few words where you're from and where you grew up. I think I read somewhere that you're from Essex, right? So not very far from London, but more to the east.
Yeah, so yeah, we grew up in a little seaside town called Walton-on-the-Naze.
Right.
Yes, a seaside town in Essex. Yeah, Ben was super proud to be from Essex. So.
Okay.
Which some people might say is a bit questionable, but yeah, so we grew up there. We kind of all left around like 16. We kind of about our teenage years. There wasn't really much there to do apart, some people have called it God's waiting room because it quite literally is a seaside town. It's really quaint, but if you kind of want to go, and unless you want to settle down quite young, there's not really much going on there. So yeah, we all made a sharp exit in our teenage years.
So you grew up there, and did you come straight to London, or did you live somewhere else before you eventually got into London? Or
Ben when he kind of obviously traveled the world with skateboarding and things,
right.
But yeah, I lived in Ipswich for about 10 years. Yeah, I lived there for about 10 years, but again, it was bigger than like, that part of Essex that we were from, but there wasn't in like, I think, if you move to a city and things, your possibilities are endless with where you kind of explore your career, and any career, you can do anything really. But I think, in Ipswich, I was stuck doing a job that I hated. When I lost Ben, I knew I wanted to be in London. He always wanted me to be there. So yeah, when I lost him, I moved. So I've been there about like 2.5 years now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it had been longer than that. Okay.
Yeah, no, we lost Ben in the May, and I moved to London August. So I guess it's even less. Yeah.
Yeah, like a little bit over 2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And how are you enjoying it? It must be quite a change from your previous locations where you were living.
Yeah, it's been the best. It's just been so good. I think my network of friends is just incredible in London. And really kind of, I think after losing Ben, that was the hardest, patch of my life. And I found the people that I've got as a net and now surrounding me are the best people possible. So that's really good. Yeah, and it's super fun. I mean, it's bloody expensive. Like pints are so expensive now. Yeah. But so when COVID happened, it was obviously quite quiet and life wasn't too. I was like, people say London's really expensive living. It's not too bad. Obviously, it wasn't because we weren't going to pubs, and now everything's opening up. I'm really feeling the London prices, but it is really fun.
Cool. So tell me a little bit about growing up with Ben and so you have three older brothers, right? So
Yeah.
there's Ben, Ollie, and James.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you grew up all together, and I understand that you had kind of a challenging upbringing. Can you tell me just a little bit about that? And
yeah, we grew up in our mum was a single mum.
okay.
She really, really tried her best, but she suffered, she's kind of battled addiction, alcohol addiction, like most of our life. It got worse the later part, kind of last 10 years or something, but something she battled, but she tried her best. She didn't have a partner, and our dad left when we were super young, and was just never around. So it was just really hectic growing up. And I look back, and like Christmases and stuff, our mum really tried to make an effort, which I think is now like amazing, considering what she was struggling with. Her mental health wasn't great, and she really tried to make an effort where she could, but at the same time it was just like we were uncontrollable as kids. We were just like feral children almost. I think Ben, but me and Ben, we'd constantly be fighting, but we did, I think there was so much love there between us, but it was just like a complete war zone. It really was. I'd go around my friends after school and just like it'd be really nice and relaxed, and then I'd get back and Ben would be like kicking off. It'd just be chaos everywhere. It's like life in the day of a Raemers, to be fair, when we're growing up.
Yeah. So eventually, Ben committed suicide in May 2019. Can you tell me just a little bit about after that happened? How did you get help, basically? How did you manage to pull through this, I must imagine, horrible time? And how did it get into creating the foundation, basically? Can you tell me a little bit about those first few months before the foundation was started?
Yeah, well, when I lost Ben to suicide, it was the most harrowing time of my life. And one that like grief affects everybody so differently, and it didn't hit me properly, I'd say, until like 6 months. So like for the first, like, you're just in this haze and blur, I just was surviving for the first few months, and like I had my best friend Goody, she was amazing. My cousin, who I live with now in London, Chess, she saved my life. I couldn't get my head around, like I've never really lost someone super close to me, and me and Ben were so insanely close. It was just like I'd lost my right arm, and I just I didn't know how to cope with these feelings. And I think because of what we'd gone, we'd had some challenges for our lives as kids. People kind of like, oh, you're so strong, but I was just like, this is a completely different kettle of fish, and something I just, losing someone to suicide is just, you're crazy. You just have questions in your head. You just think about their last moments in life, and it's just crippling. But yeah, my cousin Chess, she basically just saw me in my darkest place and saved my life. She got me to the doctors and got me seeing a therapist. And I think everybody should have therapy. It's just amazing. I think and I kind of had this thing attached to it with like, why do I need to speak to someone? I can speak to my friends, but there's just something about it. It's completely different to.
I guess you can also rely on your friends, just like you did in some part, but it's always good to have someone from the outside world, so to speak, to offer their professional help as well, of course.
Definitely. Well, that definitely was life-changing for me. And I think even prior to Ben, I should have definitely spoken to someone, because I think you're like a tipping cup, and I think you just keeps filling up, and then all of a sudden it can just be one thing. And Ben was this big thing that it took. But in therapy, I thought I'd be talking loads about just Ben, but it was so much, so many more different things that I didn't think would even come up. But then with that, and me kind of, I think, getting a bit more on top of things, I helped start the foundation alongside Rob, Susie, and my cousin Chess. So it's definitely helped heal me, but I can't even believe that it's real. When I see the silhouette everywhere, I'm like, what the hell? This is amazing.
It is pretty amazing. It's amazing how important it has become, and how much it's changed the landscape of skateboarding regarding mental health discussion, basically. So you guys have been doing, guys and girls have been doing an amazing job. So congrats.
Thanks.
So when did the foundation start exactly? How long after Ben's passing did everything get into place, basically?
It was super quick. It was Susie's, she's our driving force behind the whole foundation. She's the brains. She's worked in public health, so she knew, knew kind of how to make it come to life, essentially. Whereas me and Rob were just a bit like, we wanted to do something but didn't know what to do. And Susie was like, there's definitely something here. Yeah. So yeah, she put her heart and soul into it, and that's why we have a foundation, essentially. But it wasn't that long after Ben passed away. I think we had the initial chat, me, Susie and Rob had the initial chat about like where we were going to go with it in like the end of June, July time. Ben passed in the May, so maybe like July. So it was just like a couple of months. But when he passed away, I said to me and my brothers were talking, we said we needed to do something, but we didn't know what, and it was like, I think the thought of it was just like, God, we couldn't do that. But if you put your mind to it, you can do anything. And if you have the right support, and
of course.
Yeah. So it's, thanks to Suze, really.
And so you guys do many different things, but one thing that I've noticed a lot was the smile videos that you guys do every few months. I've seen the latest one with Chris Pullman, and is that how you say his last name? Pullman? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other guys before him, like Nick Jensen, Chris Jones, Aaron Harrington. And I thought these were very powerful videos because they're very they're like short but well made and straight to the point and moving. I think they're really powerful tools to spread the awareness around mental health issues. So that's one thing that you do, but I think you also organize like training for skateboarding brands and stuff like that. Can you tell me a little bit about basically the mission of the foundation?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we first started, Susie sat down and said to me and Rob, what do you want? What's the main deliverable? What do you want to do? And we were just like, and she said, do you want to kind of deliver a suicide awareness training? And we were like, Jesus, that's an amazing idea. So she said, well, what about in skate shops or to teams? And we were like, bingo, that's amazing. So I think I've said this before, like Ben walking into a real clinical place like a doctor's or somewhere is somewhere where he would freeze up. But actually I think having a hub and places where skateboarders can go to and knowing there's people trained there just seems like the most kind of simple but genius thing. So we've been delivering suicide awareness training to teams and managers and skate shops like globally now with the help of Live and Works in America. And we did some when we first started with an organization called Grassroots. And we just I think the main thing for me was just how amazed I was at how many people wanted to do it. It wasn't like we kind of had to keep pulling, being like, would this be something? I think losing Ben has affected so many people. So there was a lot of love for Ben, through like so many different teams and managers. And I think it was really beautiful how everyone just wanted to do something. And this seems like what an amazing way, because with a few tools behind you and just like a few words, just knowing and not being afraid of the word suicide, you can save lives. So
no, absolutely. Yeah, it's a difficult conversation, but it's definitely an extremely important one. So yeah. And so about the smile videos again, do you have other ones in the works?
They got the guys do it, and I think that how well their people have taken to them and people wanting to, when I've done like Q&As alongside them, I mean it's like a big event and like I guess creating a safe space and an open place for people to open up, and that was the first like event we really did apart from the launch. It was a bit, the first ones was a bit, are people going to want to talk? Are they going to want to open up? But we were just so shocked and overwhelmed at how many people did want to. So that's something that we want to, continue doing and carry on doing, because we did after COVID, we finally got to do another one, which is Chris's one. So we did that, and the same again. It was like we basically sold. I think we sold like 90 something tickets. We could only hold 100 in the room, I think. So it was like a full room again, and I think to start with, people were a little bit hasty about putting their hand up and asking. But it's almost like it's that point where everyone started warming up, and then the minute one person does, another one does, and it's felt like we could have been in the room for hours. So I think seeing the impact that the Smile films are doing has definitely just, kind of reaffirmed, we need to keep doing these. And we've definitely got more in the pipeline, which is exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, I look forward to seeing more of them. Yeah, they're really sick. I really enjoy watching them, and
Good.
Forward to more of it. So in recent times, very recently, Barney Page just skated across the whole of like a 900 miles across the UK and raised, I think 17,000 pounds or something for the foundation. So it's pretty nuts, both like the money, but more importantly, the performance or the length of, I can't even imagine doing that, but he's really impressive. How did that idea start? Did he suggest to do that, or did you guys approach him, or how did this whole idea start, basically? Do you know?
Yeah, my God. I think if anyone approached me and said to me to do that, I'd tell them to definitely jog on. Barney, he's one of Ben's nearest and dearest. And
right.
I just got a voice message from him on Instagram, and he was like, "Hey, Luce, so I'm thinking of doing. I want to do something for the foundation, but I'm not really sure what. But I was thinking of doing a skate from the top of the country, basically to the bottom."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Barney, that sounds amazing." He's like, "I want to raise some money and do something." And yes, we kind of started talking about it back in maybe like July time, I think. And then he had some amazing people around him, and then it came to light, and he literally skated from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
It just amazed me in like all types of weather.
Yeah. I saw some footage of him in the rain and everything. And I was like, wow, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah. I saw him last week, actually.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I caught up with him to give him a big cuddle and just like thank him and catch up with him, really. And he just looked amazing. Whereas if I had just done that, I would have probably come back a shell of the person I was. But the people he was doing it with, they said that, it would be like completely like torrential rain, horrendous conditions, and they'd be like, "Barney, you sure you don't want to get in the car?" And he'd be like, "No, I'm doing this." So I think he definitely said, I think keeping I think if you do anything like that, I can't even comprehend doing that many miles, but I think if you have the why at the front of your mind, you can smash through most things. I couldn't do that, but
no, it's pretty incredible. I'm do you know if they're that's kind of a side question, but I saw that some like photographers and maybe filmers were around him. Is there going to be like a documentary piece about his journey, or?
Yes, it's something's definitely in the pipeline. Is going to be coming out about the whole the journey, which is I think I'm allowed to say that. I have. So there's going to be something coming. I mean, there had to be, right? You couldn't.
Well,
no way Barney could have just done that and us just been like, yay, I think it's definitely something that it deserves, like all the credit it can get. And
absolutely.
that journey I can't wait to see what's coming, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I guess it will take a few weeks or months, because he just finished like maybe a week or 2 weeks ago or something. It's pretty recent, right?
He finished Super Week. It was maybe like 2-3 weeks ago. But I think and even when he was skating, I think when he just finished, he was kind of back out on his board really quickly. Whereas I would have definitely been giving myself probably a year off. Not even wanted to look at a skateboard.
Exactly. No, I did see like him doing a trick and on some weird high structure that he posted recently, and I was like, was that before or after he did this journey? Like, but no, he's insane. No, it's really sick. It's really very impressive, and I look forward to seeing some footage of all that and hear the backstory and everything. And so there's another documentary that's going to be released on November 4th, so this Thursday, with Vice. So can you tell me a little bit about that project? I guess that must have been a pretty long, there must have been talks of doing that for some time. Can you tell me a little bit about how it came about and everything?
So when Ben passed away, Rob's friend who used to skate with, a guy called Liam, who does films, things, and he basically said to Rob, this is, you know, something obviously with Ben's legacy and him being so unknown and how we lost him. He said, you know, how do you think it'd be something that the family might want to maybe think about, like doing a bit of like a short story or a documentary? Or and then he was like, I'll ask Lucy. So I was like, 100%, definitely, if we can raise awareness, then for sure. And so Liam got in touch, and then we did some filming, and he'd been following us, like, and me, like through the whole journey of like the foundation, and like I suppose where I've been in my grieving process and stuff. And so he's got so much amazing footage. And yeah, and then Vice wanted to do something similar, and then we said, you know, we'll speak to Liam, because they want to do something on Ben, and we kind of were a bit like, you know, we've been doing so much with Liam, so they've kind of joined forces and then created this amazing short documentary. I watched it like a few weeks ago, and it's really powering, like super emotional, super empowering, but
yeah, I'm sure, yeah,
it's going to make a hell of a difference. It's really, it's harrowingly beautiful.
And so it's called Skating and Talking, right? I think that's what I saw. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I'm talking about on it, and there's like some of Ben's really good, like Rob's talking on there, and Horsey, his really, really good friend as well. And yeah, so it's just amazing. Cool. Yeah, so come on the 4th. We're doing a screening for it in London, and then it's gonna go on Ben's birthday. So I thought it was a good day to kind of make it go viral.
Absolutely. So you actually did you just talked about like this whole process of doing the foundation and everything, and very recently you set yourself a pretty challenging goal by running the London Marathon. I wanted to ask you about that, because you also mentioned Grassroots. I think you ran for them, basically to raise money for them as well.
Yeah. So I basically, I found running really, really helped me once I lost Ben. My cousin got me into it, and I just sort of started throwing myself into it. And then as I was running, I was like, God, this is really, like, I just feel amazing when I came back, and I wasn't too bad at it. And then Grassroots, who we did the suicide awareness training with, that was like our first batch, which we did. We did it with them. They put an application form out and just said, we've got a place for the London Marathon, all applicants welcome. And I'd actually had like a couple of glasses of wine, and I was just home alone, and I was like, sod it, well, I'll just go for it. So I put the application form in. I said to my cousin the next day, I was like, God, I put an application in for the London Marathon.
What did I get myself into?
Yeah, she was like, what did you say? I was like, I don't actually really remember. Like, and then I was actually in Brighton, which is where they're based, and I had a real lull, and it was a really tough patch. I think that's when I was kind of really heavily grieving about Ben. My cousin just took me. Brighton's like my happy place. We was going to sit by the sea. I feel a bit closer to Ben by the sea. I guess it's lovely memory of Walton on the Naze. And then I got a message, and they said I'd got in and I'd been picked. And I was like, oh my God, I've got to do this. So so then I just got training, and in about a month and a bit ago, I haven't run since, because it was pretty hardcore. But I ran it. So I raised quite a lot of money for them. They're like such an amazing organization. It was a pleasure to run for them. But 26 miles is just, I just can't believe I did it. Pretty hard.
It is, no, and congrats, because it is quite a challenge. And how are you feeling a month after? Like, did you feel all right once you finished? Weren't you like super sore and exhausted? Or I think I saw like some Instagram thing where you were drinking a beer. I think it was straight after it or something.
Yeah. So many people over the finish line were like, oh God, I need to go home and rest. And I was like, I just need a pint real pronto. And it was so sweet. I was coming to cross the finish line. You have you go around the corner of Buckingham Palace, and then it's like 600 meters or whatever to the finish line. Okay. And there's this guy just like hobbling. And I was like, are you okay? He said, no. He's like, my hips completely gone. And I was like, I'll walk over the finish line with you. And then I looked at him. I thought, God, he looks a little bit older than me. But I was like, if you don't mind asking, how are you? And he's like, 71. I was like, 71? Wow. What the hell? And then my knee had gone a bit. And he was like, what's your excuse? I thought, nothing, absolutely nothing. But we crossed the finish line together, and then we actually lost each other. And then, and then we had a real lovely chat on the way over the finish line. But then his granddaughter spotted us on TV, and then he got my number and my email address, so we've actually been emailing, which is really sweet.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, so it was really nice. But yeah, it was so hard. I was so sore after. Like I got quite drunk that night, and then in the night my boyfriend was like, "Are you okay?" And he was having to like roll me over and get me in and out of the shower. Yeah, it was hardcore.
Yeah, I'm sure. Awesome. Well, yeah, congrats on going through with it. It's an impressive accomplishment. So
thank you.
And so just to conclude, like for people that are listening to this and that might want to help with the Ben Raemers Foundation, like how can they help? Basically, I mean, obviously by giving donations through your website, I guess.
Yeah, if you go and check out our website, it's got everything on there. We're kind of in the process of, we've been obviously doing suicide awareness training, which is where a lot of our funding's gone to, but we're now going to kind of keep getting bigger and bigger. So yeah, that will be something if you kind of go check out our website where you can donate, and we'll just kind of, we put on there what we're up to, what's coming. So it will be, I think that'll be a good place for people to see where donations are going. And yeah, they're all going towards saving as many lives as possible and doing everything to keep Ben's legacy alive. So, and our Instagram page, we are always posting bits and bobs on there as well.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we can wrap it up here. Thank you, Lucy. I appreciate it.
No problems. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
That's it for my little chat with Lucy. To learn more about the Ben Raemers Foundation, you can go visit their website, thebenraemersfoundation.com. Follow them on Instagram at the Ben Raemers Foundation. Go check out their Smile videos on YouTube, and keep an eye out for the Vice documentary on Ben's life coming out today, November 4th. Thank you for listening. See you soon for a new episode of Beyond Boards. Tell your friends you love them. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Rest in peace, Ben Raemers.